You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Brandon, Fisher back to reality. Welcome everybody to episode number 53 of the Better Than Marlins Fans Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. Got on alongside me. I got Mr. Brandon Griffin. How are you doing, sir?
I've been doing better. I'm missing the Yankees series is what I'm doing.
Yeah, man. I after that series because last time we spoke was last Monday,
Yep.
and we finally made it to 500, and we thought
Yeah.
Astros not going to be easy. But then you got the Braves. I forgot that it was 5 times. I thought we had them 4 times. We had them 5 times. At that point, they
Yeah.
were like 19 games under 500. I thought, okay, that's a series win. Maybe we can get 4 out of 5. Yeah, man, I felt like we kind of got a quick snap back to reality moment, kind of like Eminem says. And it was a very disappointing week of Marlins baseball. Everybody was kind of excited. I had people at work. They were like, "Hey, I'm going to go to the Marlins game after work today." It's like, I didn't even know you watch baseball. Like it was like, okay, people are starting to hear about it. People are starting to get curious, making out to the
Yeah.
ballpark. Like it was good vibes, and it really sucks that in a span of 7 days they pooped the bed. They went 2-6 in the last
hmm
7 days.
Yeah, it was rough, but yeah, and I know kind of like you, even yesterday while I was out and about, like getting the kids ready for back to school, like I saw a lot of Marlins gear out, and it's a lot more than I normally saw. So, while I do think the last two series have been, obviously disappointments because if you only take two games out of those, what is it, eight we played,
Mm-hmm.
that's really, really disappointing. But I do think, this is kind of what we expected this team to be this year. We're
Yeah.
still 6 games ahead of the Braves in the NL East, so I'll take it. But yeah, it's disappointing, and hopefully we see the team rebound. Um, we'll talk about it, our expectations for the series coming up. But yeah, I think, yeah, it was just bad overall, right? Like, I don't even
We
think
could, we,
Eddie
we could
was
start
like
with
the
the.
lone
I don't
bright
know.
spot.
Yeah, because I don't know if how much you want to get into the Astro series because I feel like the Astro series was. I feel like that Yankees sweep was like like the peak, and maybe because everybody,
Could
fans,
be.
maybe even players included, might have felt so good. You kind of lax a little bit, but I don't want to say I was okay with it, but I understood it. Okay, we lost 2 out of 3. I was really happy that we salvaged that last game, that we didn't get swept.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, we 1 game under 500 with 5 to come against the Braves. We're in a good spot. The Astro series, we just got dominated basically the first 2 games. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like I said. Your thoughts on the Astro series?
I mean, yeah, we were coming in high, and I think you and I both saying we take two out of three with the Stros was probably a bit ambitious, especially after the moves they made at the trade deadline to really improve that lineup. And um, the Astros were clearly the better team. We definitely did get dominated. It was nice to be able to bring one win out of that, courtesy of our boy Junk. But yeah, I mean, about what we expected. Team played very poorly for that series, in my opinion, because really Monday and Tuesday's games weren't particularly close.
No, and Junk. I mean, we say that he's not necessarily consistent, but I'd have to double check this, but I don't know if he's won 8 out of his last 10 starts. I got to double check that. But Junk playing decent. One is that last game. Look, they're out looking
hmm
for Junk right now. Um, so like I said, after that series, I felt okay. But I think the biggest downer is that you drop 4 out of 5 to the Atlanta Braves, who at that moment when we started that series, I think they were like 18 games under 500. Like they've been
Yeah.
terrible this year, and we were hot going into the Astro series. We had won 6 series in a row. You
hmm
couldn't keep winning series. So again, that Astro series, although it sucked, Taking 1 out of 2, that was okay with me.
Yeah.
But the Brave series, I think, was completely unacceptable. Like the bats went silent over the last week. I forgot Stowers existed. Like he had a really off week. Uh, Augustine Ramirez another off week. Xavier Edwards is the only one that I think had a good. Who else? Xavier Edwards over the last week.
Um.
Xavier Xavier Edwards.
Yeah. I mean, Otto Lopez was decent. Like, I mean, the thing with the Brave series though, too, right, is like if you look at it, game one we scored 6 runs. Game four we scored 6 runs. When you score 6 runs, you really should win. And so those two games, in my opinion, were definitely dropped by the pitching staff because we should have picked up those 2 wins. And then the other 2 losses were both 7-1 losses. Like the bats were silent in those games, but also the pitching was bad. Um, so, if you want to kind of figure out what maybe was the root cause of this series loss, I wouldn't say so much it was the bats. I think it was absolutely the pitching. Because if you get 6 runs in run support, you should win games.
Well, I think the
Um,
biggest disappointment there was that Yuri start.
yeah,
We were talking
it was
about
tough.
last week against was it against the Yankees that but they scored two. That's right. It was two Augustine Ramirez solo home runs, first
Yeah,
and fourth inning, and we said Yuri said 2 runs. Thank you. That's all I need. He got a lot more than two, and he gave up the lead anyway, which was really disappointing coming from the ace.
yeah,
I think that might have been the most disappointing of all those because if we can hold on to that, it sucks to only get 2 out of 5, but you're feeling a little better. But
yeah,
4 out of 5, that's really really rough.
yeah, absolutely. And I think adding to that, I think the Sandy start too was very disappointing. Um, him
Hmm.
taking another loss and still having that ERA above 6. If we are looking to deal him in the off season,
He's got to step it up.
he's got to start performing. Otherwise, no one's going to be coming calling. So we'll see. It's been a rough week, but hopefully the team doesn't stay here. And hopefully we can keep battling for the rest of the season because believe it or not, we're coming up on the finish line here. There's not a whole lot of season left.
No, you said you were talking about Sandy and his trade value. One thing for sure is Cabrera keeps his stock high. So
Yeah,
the worry was that in the trade deadline we had to sell high because we didn't want his inconsistencies to come back, him walking every other batter. But he was the bright spot. He had a good game. I mean, that's moving on from the two horrible series. Something that we look forward to is seeing the trade value for hopefully Sandy, because I'm pretty sure Sandy won't be here next year. Um, and Eddie Cabrera continue to go up.
yeah. I think you're looking at just hoping that Sandy can start rebounding. Eddie can keep performing the way he's performing. And I mean, listen, if the trade value or trade market doesn't really materialize, who's complaining about you know, Yuri as your ace, Eddie as your two, Braxton Garrett as your three, Sandy as your four, and Max Meyer as your five, and then insert maybe a guy like Thomas White next year, a couple other guys that can probably contribute. Quantrill's shown he can hang around if we bring him back next year. So who knows? Very interesting to see.
All right. Were any bright spots during this last week to you?
I think you already really called it out. I think Xavier Edwards had 2 good series. I think he played well. The other bright spot for me personally was seeing Jesus Sanchez not in a Marlins uniform anymore. Seeing him in an Astros uniform was nice.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's it.
What about the Rook?
Listen,
I don't know.
yeah, I mean it was decent. It was a decent series for them. You know, I don't know. I kind of black out the last 2 series.
Yeah.
It was rough. That Brave series was hard to watch too. It wasn't even like it was a lot of fun games that like, oh yeah, we could have won. It was rough.
Um, Going into the next series against the Guardians, we're now 4 games on the 500. We thought, well, I thought that this Brave series would be that nice little cushion that we would get a couple games over 500
Mm-hmm.
heading into a Guardians and Red Sox series. Um, I know that when we were being playful, saying that we could possibly make a run for the wild card. I saw some people on Twitter saying, "Forget the wild card, maybe even the division's in play." I know it was a good feeling the last couple weeks, but in reality, expectations, I thought even the thought of a wild card, I think, kind of went down because now that got that 5 game series against the Braves, that's the type of series that you need to get in order to ever make even a realistic joke about going for the wild card. I think that goes out the
Yeah.
window now because you're going against the Guardians, which are hot right now, the Red Sox, which are hot. Then you got the Cardinals, the Blue Jays, killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Braves again for 3 games. Then you have the Mets, which are desperate at the moment. The Nationals, the Phillies. It doesn't get a lot easier. So,
No.
expectations for the rest of the season, I would assume is try your best to keep it close to 500.
Yeah. I think there's maybe a little hope that we can claw back to 500. We got quite a few games with the Nationals. Rockies are pretty bad. Uh, yeah, and I think we can maybe claw our way back to 500. That in my mind that should be the goal is try and finish around 500. And I think we would all look at the beginning of the season and say, okay, if we can do that, we play 500 ball the rest of the way. I don't think the Braves catch us in the division. We finished third in the division, and that 500 ball, I think anybody would have taken that at the beginning of the season. So I think it's realistic to hope that I was hopeful for playoffs, but never really thought that was a possibility this year. But you know, I also think once we get to September, it's got to be about getting the younger guys some reps and who's going to be our September call ups, right?
Yeah. Oh, expectations change, and I think that, like you said, right now, 4 games under 500 this late into the season, I think we all would have taken it. The fact that we had that last couple weeks where all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
we got really hot and we sweep. Because right now I'm looking at the Guardians and Red Sox series, and I'm saying, hopefully we can get what, two out of 6. But
See, you and
you
I
know,
are
I
looking
would
at
have
this
never.
very differently.
Okay, go for it. Tell me, what are you thinking for the Guardians and Red Sox series?
I think it is very possible that we sweep the Guardians because we've
Wow.
got Junk going tomorrow,
Yep.
Yuri, Eddie.
Yep. Hmm.
2 out of 3 is my expectation for the series, but I think there is a possibility we could sweep them. The Guardians are not great. They've been hot lately. I don't think they're a
They're
great
hot right
team.
now. Right.
Um, they're just like us. I think they're only 4 games over 500. So there's like that 8 game span.
But
And
they've won like 8 or 9 out of their last 10. Like they're right now they're riding hot.
yeah, yeah, but I think maybe we drop the opener with Junk on the hill, even though he's been probably our third best starter this season. I do think Yuri returns to form. I think Eddie continues his form in those last 2 games, and we definitely take 2.
And both those series are on the road in Cleveland and in Boston.
Yeah,
And against Boston, you said,
Boston. I think we take 1 out of 3.
so you're thinking for a clean 3-3.
500. Yeah,
Okay. That
hoping
puts us
for a
at
fourth with 4-2,
60,
but
60 and 64. Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry, that's right. You're hoping for a 4 too,
yeah,
which would put us at 61 and 63, 2 games on the. No, am
yeah,
I doing my math right? Yeah,
yeah.
61 and 63. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not as hopeful. But I'll hope for a 3-3. Yeah, I don't know. 500 ball is what I'm hoping. It's unfortunate because I really thought that we would come on here a week later after the Yankee series and be talking about how we are 2 or 3 games over 500, and
Yeah.
then we get to do the math, right? Okay, we have this many games left. We have to
What's our
go.
magic number?
Yeah,
All that.
yeah, yeah. That's what I thought the conversation would be today.
Yeah.
But like I said, a quick little bit of a reality, and here we are. And that's it. Ed, do you have any final thoughts on the fish?
Final thoughts. Let's just hope the team can rebound. That would be my hope. And young guys have a tendency to get inconsistent at times, and I think the whole team kind of went inconsistent the last two series. Hopefully they come back around, or at least enough comes back around for us to turn this back around and get us back on track to finish the season strong. But it's going to be a tough couple. You kind of already outlined the series that we have coming up. Red Sox on the road is always tough. Blue Jays, Mets, even the Braves, if they remain hot, are going to be tough series. So I think I think the Guardian series is really like the one to watch to see how we're going to finish out the season, because if we can kind of turn it around, get a series win there, maybe we can kind of start some momentum going into that Cardinals series, and I don't know. Hopefully keep some magic going, but yeah.
I think one of the most disappointing parts of this is that, like I said, you actually had people talking about the Marlins, and people were starting to get excited. And I thought to myself, okay, this is cool. This is cool. Now people are starting to pay attention again.
Yeah.
But as soon as they start paying attention, then we get smacked, and it really
Yeah.
sucks because you want. And now the football season starting. Uh,
Yeah.
that's that's it. That stadium had a chance to maybe have a decent showing to end the season, and that went completely out the window. You're gonna get poor attendance now with school starting, football
Yeah.
starting.
I mean,
This was the
listen,
chance.
the only good thing about that Brave series, it was on the road. If it was
Yeah,
5 games at home and we only won one, I think that would have done more to hurt things. But I do think some of the casual fans that have started to come back to the team probably didn't watch the road trip.
yeah, fair. Yeah, but all right. Well, hopefully we have something better to talk about next week because
Fingers
on Thursday,
crossed.
yeah, on Thursday when we would usually start record, we first day of school here in Miami. So shout out to everybody that gets to start take their kiddos to school. I'm sure a lot of parents are happy. And that's it. Let's see what happens in the next two series: Guardians, Red Sox. Like maybe we get surprised, right? And maybe we
Yeah.
get to 4 out of 6, like you said, and better vibes going into next week. But let's just wait and see. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. The Marlins are back, and we will be back next week. So until the next one, have a good one.